Hey guys, this is Auto Odometer, and today I'm going to be using an entire bottle of Back to Black to try to restore this plastic trim piece here on my 4Runner. So the trim piece here is pretty dusty, so I'm going to go ahead and vacuum some of it off. Once it's all nice and clean, I'm going to go ahead and further clean it just to make sure that the application of the Back to Black has the best clean surface possible. So I'm going to take some soap, and it's just some Dawn dish soap, and then scrub it down, and then I'm going to rinse it off with a hose. Now, if you saw one of my earlier videos, I did a Back to Black versus automatic transmission fluid to try to see how that would restore some black trim. I'll leave a link in the description for you to check that video out, and even in the comments box as well. Now, the Back to Black definitely outperformed the automatic transmission fluid, but it faded after about 1 week, and I wanted to see what an entire application of Back to Black would do. And at the end of this video, I want to show you what it looks like 4 weeks after using an entire bottle of Back to Black. I just wanted to do this just to make sure it had a little bit of sun exposure and some driving conditions. And for one more final cleaning step, I took some isopropyl alcohol and sprayed it on the plastic trim piece just to make sure that we had the cleanest surface possible. So this is what it's going to look like right before I add the Back to Black Restorer. I just wanted to get a good look at what the plastic trim looked like. You can see that it's very dull and there's really no shine to it, and there's some white, really stressed pieces that there's no black in them at all. And I wanted to see if it would restore some of these pieces. So we're going to start with the first application here. I'm just going to saturate this this microfiber towel here, and we're going to start. So I'm not going to pour the whole bottle at once, just because I feel like it would start pushing the Back to Black around instead of actually having it absorb into the plastic. Now what I want to do is do it a couple times and make sure I get it saturated, and then let it dry and let it kind of sink into the plastic as best as possible. And then I'll do a couple more applications until the bottle's completely gone. So you can see after one application, it's starting to look pretty shiny. It does have a shine to it, but some of the stressed pieces didn't absorb much of the material and return it to black at all. You can see that this white piece here stayed white and didn't really absorb much of the restorer, and it didn't turn black or any shade of black at all. So we're going to start with the second application here. I let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes to let it start to absorb some of the restorer, as well as for the new application to take hold. So this time the application is going to be a little bit thicker. And right now the bottle has about half to about a third of the solution left. So I just wanted to give you a close-up of what it looks like when I'm applying this. And we're on to our third application here. We'll have one more application after this. The bottle probably is about a quarter full right now. But I wanted to show you something here. The rag is starting to get really saturated, and you can almost drain the rag where you squeeze the rag together, and the Back to Black isn't even absorbing really onto the plastic trim. But I still want to finish the what I started here and still use the entire bottle. I'm going to let this application dry a good long time to make sure that it leaves some room for the final application. And here's that. Here's me squeezing out some of the Back to Black. You can tell that it's quite saturated with trim restorer. But we're going to let it dry and see what we get. And finally, on to our fourth and final application here. I'm just going to use out the bottle, and I'm going to do it just like we did the second application, just in even coats until all the bottle's completely gone. Unfortunately here, the left side is going to get a little bit more than the right side, because over here on the right side the bottle does run out. And just to give you a closer up look of what the towel really looks like, it's pretty saturated and it can't really take much more of the Back to Black, and I'm not sure how much more is absorbing into the plastic trim. But with that being said, now I want to show you what it looks like about 4 weeks afterwards, or about a month after the application. This is after driving it pretty much every day, 5 to 6 days a week. I also want to show you what the automatic transmission versus one application of Back to Black looks like. So what we're looking at now is just what it looks like immediately after the entire bottle of Back to Black, and that took a total of 4 applications. And there's my cat. So it's pretty shiny. It does have a pretty shiny look to it, and I'm curious as to how that's going to hold up. And here we are 4 weeks later. I was actually pretty impressed with how it kept its shine and how black it stayed and continued to stay black. So if you recall, I did do 1 application of Back to Black, and I believe I just showed you what it looked like a week or 2 later, and it was pretty dull. So here's the before application, and you can see that there's kind of a whiteness to this trim, and you can tell that it's pretty faded, especially in like the curves in this corner area right here. And then we go to the after 4 weeks, and you can tell it has held up pretty well. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of dust and grime on it from driving conditions, but I'm still pretty impressed. It's not going to be the absolute best. I wasn't too impressed here with the stress piece here on the plastic trim. I was hoping it would renew some of this a little bit better. The feel of it isn't really oily at all, but that's what it looks like 4 weeks later. Now I want to go back and show you what it looks like here on my Sequoia. That one video I was talking to you about where I did automatic transmission fluid on the left and Back to Black on the right. You can tell the Back to Black Restorer definitely outperformed the automatic transmission fluid, but it still has faded quite a bit. And this is probably I would say 6 weeks after I did the application. Doing an entire bottle of Back to Black definitely restores a lot better than just doing one application. So if you enjoyed that video, leave a comment. If there's anything else I should try besides dyes and things like that, because I know that's going to work, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you like that, and as always, thanks for watching.